working. Stream. Ooh. Oh, stream. My stream is offline. Oh, but it's not. Oh, hello. There we go. Hello, boys and girls. Right. Okay, we seem to be functioning now. I think. Okay. So I have to get into the habit of looking at my monitor, not the PC screen. Let me just turn the audio down a touch. I'm getting deafened by the speakers. Okay. Well, hello there, whoever's watching. This is the first time I've recorded a ti99 through the capture software. Seems to look okay. Let's have a go at Parsec. I'm playing by keyboard. I don't know if you know this game. Yep, still got it. Yeah, but a bit of background, I suppose. The ti99 was the first home computer that I ever had as a child. This would have been 1984, possibly, perhaps late 83, when Texas Instruments had withdrawn from the market. And it was bought second-hand for £30 by my mum and dad, or mum and stepdad. And it was an absolute joy. It wasn't until a little bit later, perhaps a week or two, month or two, that I realised that it was basically an abandoned system. Texas Instruments had pulled out of the market, and well, that was that. So you could not buy software, and there was pretty much nothing available. Not in the UK anyway. But I found a flyer when I bought this, or when Mum bought it, and it said Parco Electrics. Who's shooting at me? Oh, fuel. Parco Electrics in Devon were stocking. Press number 1 on the keyboard to slow down the speed of the spaceship. Go on, son. Look at that. Knock a few stalactites off the roof. Boosh. Yeah, Parco Electrics were selling the old stock of ti99 stuff, and they had a full catalogue. It was very amateurishly made. It was white A4 paper with blue ink, and it was photocopied. So they were all slightly askew. They weren't straight, but anyway, don't matter. What's going to bash into me now with these things? Never seen them come from the bottom before. Right, here we go. Yeah, so Parco Electrics, they had quite a large stock of ti99 stuff. So it's through mail order that I got most of my games during that time. Virgin Games were doing the fun packs, Fun Pack 1 and 2, and they had lots of text adventures. And that made a big difference on me as a kid. Quite a big impact. Gunfighter, Starship Supernova, all that sort of stuff. And then you had the space action games like Parsec and the Atari soft stuff, Protector, Pac-Man, Car Wars, Pole Position, all that sort of stuff. But it wasn't until years later that I got the Atari soft stuff, because it was quite expensive. Whereas the cartridge could be, I don't know what they were, £10 or something. The Atari soft stuff was about 20, so it was quite expensive. And this would have been 1984 or 5. So I never actually had any Atari soft stuff back in the day. Ooh, 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 ooh. Whoa, that was good. You see that? That was lovely. But so I used to play all the games to death, because I had probably about 10. That was it. None of my school friends knew what a ti99 was. But I had a few Spectrum owners who came over to my house when I was little, and I fired this up with its full screen introduction, and they were well impressed. But in truth, all I wanted was a Spectrum. Oh, balls. Because it had games. And the ti99 didn't. I wanted Manic Miner. Well, not Manic Miner, but... spaceship one way, collect the fuel and stuff. Jetpack. And all that sort of stuff. The stuff that was advertised in the magazines. And you just couldn't get that on the TI. It had a very poor software support. But there you go. So anyway, so I had this ti99 thing, and obviously you have to play the games to death that you've got. So Parsec was probably the fastest game, the best looking, the best playability, so that was it. So between this, probably Alpiner, and the text adventures that I liked and nobody else did, that was about my whole library on the TI. But Parsec is, well, I suppose it's the defender of the crown of the ti99. And it's a shame, really, because Text Instruments, if they hadn't been so stubborn, could have had a pretty damn good machine. Because I used one of these years later with the 32K expansion and the disk drive, the PEB thing. And I could play games like Boulder Dash. Well, it wasn't called Boulder, what was it called? Rockford. And it looked exactly the same as a C64 version. It played well, it was fast, good colour, it was great. And there were a handful of games on disc that were much better. But obviously, if you were a kid back in the early 80s, you would never have got an expansion box from the TI, because they were as much, if not more, than the console itself. Than the computer itself. Oh, I don't remember tunnels being this long, that's a bit naughty. No! I don't think I've ever seen that before. Must have done, but I don't remember that. That's just naughty. Determined to make me crash, but I'm not. Oh, balls. Yeah, so we used to play all the games to death, and Parsec was obviously probably the main contender. I did manage to get this round to well over 100,000 points, and the layout changes colour. You have red and orange and whatever, yellow and stuff. It's the same game, but the spaceships take, instead of one hit to kill, they take 2, then 3, then 4. And ooh, yeah, I forgot about you. And they also change to the background colour, which makes them effectively invisible. So the next one's gonna bang me from behind, so to speak. Oh my gosh, rubbish. And if you keep your finger on the laser, your spaceship will turn red and explode. And they speed up as you let them scroll along the screen. The binites, so these are the pain in the neck. Yeah, these go invisible. Yep, there you go. But like I say, I have been well above 100,000 points on this. I was playing it, I don't know, for an hour. But you had to play by keyboard. If you played by joystick, it was awful. Especially if you had the TI joysticks of the era. I know my mum went into town and bought me a Quick Shot 2 joystick with the Atari 9-pin that would plug into a ti99, I thought. Even though it wasn't supported on the box. They always said Atari and Commodore. And possibly MSX briefly. But generally Atari and Commodore, never mentioned Text Instruments. And when you plug it in, I think half the directions didn't work, and those that did work were the wrong way around. So left was right and up was down, or something like that. And the fire button didn't work or something. So I had a brand new Quick Shot joystick sat in the box. And I never had the heart to tell Mum it didn't work after she'd just been into town and spent £10 on it. So I never did tell her it didn't work. She never seemed to ask me if I used it, so that was okay. I didn't feel too bad. But of course, as you get older and a little bit brighter, I realised that you could rewire the joystick, alter the pinouts, and it works perfectly well on the TI. And there was even joystick adapters at the time, but I'm not sure if I knew this then. In fact, I think I didn't. Ooh, oh, bugger. So, yeah. So I never did actually have a joystick back in the day. But TI released their own joysticks, and they were hideous, horrible things. They were super stiff, they hurt your hand, and they weren't very responsive. I did I did start collecting TI stuff in the sort of mid-90s when it was still cheap. Oh, balls, overheated. And you could get shipping from the States by ship. I think it was 6 weeks postage, it was about £30. So you could have a crate of stuff, and it was £30 thereabouts. And I used to get loads of TI stuff, and Commodore, direct from the States. So I used to have boxes and boxes of cartridges or modules, and all that sort of stuff. I had a couple of PEBs. I had upgraded RAM, upgraded disk controllers, so I could have 80, no not 80 column, 80 tracks, and all that sort of stuff. Great stuff. But I then met my ex-girlfriend and it was all sold for a house. Oh, balls. And then she cleared off. I wish I'd kept the Texas Instruments stuff and not wasted my time with her, but there you go. This is getting difficult now. Oh, that was close. Oh, balls. Well, I'm at 47,000, which is reasonably respectable. Oh no! I'm overheating. Yeah, so TI abandoned it in 84. Once upon a time, I could have told you the month, but I don't remember now. And it became an orphan machine. A lot of the old stock, because they had thousands of them, millions of these bloody things in stock, they were sold to various distributors around the world. The Americans, who did the Americans have? Triton, was it? And they had a big catalogue of Texas stuff right up to about 1988. I'm not sure there was much new stuff, but they had stocks and stocks of the old stuff. But the user groups keep these going. We've now got USB and IDE and oh, I don't know, balls, all kinds of stuff. And we have the Genevieve, of course, which is supposed to be the super fast. Is that it? That's it. 50,000. Well, at least I've broke 50,000. That's pretty respectable. I don't know if you've played this game, but it does get very difficult. But I have hit. We'll have another go. Press redo. Okay. We'll have another go. Yeah, they had the Genevieve, which again was not supported by TI. I think MyArc made it, and that was quite a fast system and still compatible with the ti99. It was basically a card that plugged into the PEB. But obviously I've got no experience of that. They never made many. I think MyArc went bankrupt in, I don't know, 86 or something. So they weren't around long. But the TI, I have a lot of affection for the TI. It's a slow, lumbering thing. But it has sprites, it has reasonable sound for the era. It's fairly quick in cartridge form when it's accessing the video RAM. I know it's only got 16K. And it has a strange scratch pad RAM arrangement. But the colours are good, the sprites are good. Oh, it always seems to have a unique blueness about lots of the games, which is what the basic screen is. But that was another problem. If you wrote a program in BASIC, it was dreadfully slow. Double interpreted, I believe. So everything was quite painful. But unfortunately, Commodore basically killed it. As they did with many other companies. You can't compete with Commodore when they were selling the C64 almost at cost in later years. You just couldn't do it. They flooded the market with the 64 and destroyed everybody. They almost broke down Atari. The Texas Instruments bailed out. MSX was a complete flop. But kudos to Jack Trammell. He did a fantastic job in killing all the competition, almost. He never quite managed to get rid of IBM, but there you go. Where are you now, Jack? Well, I know where you are, but retrospectively speaking. I don't think I'm ever going to beat 50. Oh, there we are, refueling. 50,000 points. My reactions are just not that good anymore. I used to be really good at this, but I was probably 10 at the time. Ah! I'm staggered how slow you get as you get older. But yes, the ti99. The ti99 is the first computer I saw, it was colour, it had sound, and it did kind of taint my view on computers for quite a while after, because straight after this I got a ZX81. I think I swapped it for a TCR racing set. In fact, I know I did. My brother gave me the TCR and I sold it 6 months later. Or swapped it for a ZX81. And I turned it on once. It was boxed, it had all the polys with it. It was almost brand new. In fact, it might have been brand new. The ZX81 was, from my point of view as a kid, completely and utterly useless. I didn't see the point of it. It didn't do anything. It was black and white, it had no sound, it had a hideous keyboard, it had no memory. I just couldn't see the point of it. So I got rid of that pretty quick and bought a second-hand Spectrum 48K Plus with a black keyboard. And that, I probably had that machine a year or so, a year or more. And a big bag of games with it. And I was always surprised by the colour clash. I thought, well, I've never seen that before. The TI didn't do it. It had nice crisp colours, but the Spectrum had all sort of horrible colours now, so I was not impressed. So I kept that for a while, but the sound, again, was dreadful. Another Sinclair trademark. So again, that was sold, and I ended up with a C64, again, second hand. Big bag of games, 2 bags of games, from a guy with a load of 1541 stacked up on his desk at home. He was selling all his Commodore stuff to buy an Amiga 1000, which had just been featured in various magazines, whatever year. This was probably 85. So I was chatting with this guy for about half an hour in his house as my mum and stepdad sat in the car, wondering what the hell I was doing. But we were chatting away. I don't know if I never spoke to him again, never saw him again. I wouldn't know him now if I fell over him on the street, but I like to think he got his Amiga 1000 with a little bit of help from my 30 or 40 pounds or whatever it was. Don't know what the retail price was in the UK of a 1000, but it was certainly a lot more than 30 or 40 pounds. But you never know. That might have paid for the fuel for him to go and get one. Oh, bugger. But the TI made an impression. I had one, and my younger nieces had one as well, the same machine. And we used to swap games and things. And this is when I was first introduced to golf on the computer. Now it came with a pretty dreadful golf game by Virgin Games, written in BASIC. Oh, balls. By PJ Finkel. Or RJ Finkel? PJ Finkel, I think. And it was a directional golf game. So it basically, you took your shots with a clock face, you know, which direction, number 3 to go right, number 6 to go down, that sort of thing. And then the clubs were picked by what strength do you want to hit the ball, 1, 2, 8 or something. It was pretty poor. But that's when I learnt how to get into code and alter code and see what things did. So I was making the greens, I was making the greens longer or smaller, putting more trees in and doing that sort of thing. So I was editing the game, and I found it deeply fascinating how you could, how all these numbers and letters and strange words did things on the screen. I still find it interesting now. I still don't understand any of it, but I grasped the concept. So yeah, so that was golf, and my brother at the time was a very, very good amateur golfer. He was the club champion at Abbey Hill Golf Course in Milton Keynes, and we were playing, what were we playing? Golden Tee in the clubhouse, and we just got the new monthly update from Parco Electrics in Devon on the A4 bit of paper, and they had Parco Golf, realistic golf game, 18 holes, all that sort of thing, with a picture of a man in blue on a white piece of paper, hitting a golf ball. So he said, oh, we ought to have that. So he bought it for whatever it was, £14 or something. Came on cassette, 16K. but it was reasonably advanced-ish. It was a 2D golf game, certainly not Golden Tee quality, but we didn't really understand why a computer at home couldn't do the same graphics as a computer in the golf club. But then we didn't know about CPU speeds or RAM or graphics or any of that stuff. All we knew is you turn them on and they drew a screen. So why can't it draw a 3D screen? Don't know. So that was Parsec Golf, and we Parco Golf, and we played that. Oh my good lord, that was awful. And we did play that a hell of a lot. But of course, as time went by, I think that was it. Oh my good lord, that was the only computer that he ever bought. Bought a Sega Genesis or a Mega Drive after that, and then it was all PGA Golf, which was slightly more in keeping with Golden Tee, I suppose, than anything the TI could do. But I myself left it for the Spectrum, then the 64, and the Amiga, and then eventually the PC, were all for my sins. But the PC at the time was the DOS era, and that was great fun. I used to love DOS games. DOS 4GW. I need to do a thing about DOS. I do enjoy. Oh, I forgot the ships down as well. They skim the surface of the planet so you can't get them. Look, come on, play nice. Ah. All my reactions are just not there. Oh, I'm scared now. Did they go back up screen? I don't remember. Whew, that was close. Right. Ah. Oh no. Wonder what happens when you run out of fuel. Do they go away? I bet they don't. Well, I'm intrigued to know if the fuel station comes up, if these go away. I bet you just run out of fuel. Yeah, now I've got a problem. I've got to get these before I run out of fuel and get into the fuel station. And I'm about at the limit now of what I can do. Well, I suspect I'll crash anyway. Ah! Oh my good lord. Oh, I got them both. Oh my god. I'm going to run out of fuel though. Well, that's not cricket, is it? Balls. Crash with the ground. Crash with ground. Oh, game over. Well, that'll do for I think. Although I might have another go in a minute. I'm going to have a drink and I might come back and have another go. I'm determined to get above 50,000. It's a challenge. So I'll say thank you for now, and I'll be back in probably a little bit when I've had a drink. Cheerio. Let me turn the capture stuff off.